everything's over here. Does that mean I need to, like, project this direction?
Just don't knock it over.
Okay. Hi, everybody. What's up?
Yo.
We heard you went medieval on that order on the conference call before.
See, that's the difference between a journalist and a mom-and-basement blogger. You know, it's not trying to get any actual information and report the news. It's just trying to get a rise out of people, which is really unprofessional and, you know, not up to the level of anyone. You know, so my sister is an actual journalist. She went to NYU. She's an award-winning, you know, Hispanic journalist of the year, everything like that. You know, I know what a real journalist is supposed to look like and supposed to behave, and that guy wasn't it. But whatever. Not everybody can be good at their job.
Ronda, what did you think of the news conference that UFC held today about their new drug policy and toughening up the way things have been?
I'm actually extremely encouraged by all the new steps that they're taking. It's becoming much closer to the drug testing and policies that I got used to growing up with USADA. And well, one thing that I thought was really lacking before was random out-of-competition drug testing for everybody all the time, which is what I've had to deal with since I was 16 years old. You know, I started getting in-competition drug testing at 14, and then was doing in and out-of-competition drug testing by the time I was 16. And I thought it was a real shame that at 16 years old, I was getting tested more strictly and stringently than I was, you know, as a world champion fighter. And now it really seems like the USADA and UFC policies are becoming much more comparable, and I'm really, really, really happy to see that. And I'm happy that they're also increasing the punishments. With USADA, I believe, if you test positive, then you are out of the next Olympics. So you could be out up to 4 years for the whole quadrennial, and then you got to wait another 4 years for Olympics to come. So you could even be out for like 8 years if you think about it, waiting for another Olympics with USADA. You know, and now that the UFC raised it up to 2 years. I'm really happy to hear that. I really would like to see increased punishment for people who are repeat offenders. You know, that if every time you do it, oh, it's only 2 years. Like, no, like maybe it should double every single time. So you do it the first time it's 2, you do the second time it's 4, the next time it's 8 or something like that. But you know, that's just my opinion. I believe that with a combat sport like the UFC, it's so important, so much more important than any other sport, because it's not just fairness, it's the safety of the fighters. And keeping the sport safe is what makes it possible for us to do it. You know, and I don't think that your honor is worth any kind of, you can't exchange your honor for the accolades of any kind of accomplishment, but some people believe that. But it's not just about honor with MMA, it's also about the safety of the person. You know, it's not that, oh, this is unfair, it is unsafe. Someone could get hurt, someone could really die. You know, it's not like you can keep beating the weightlifting world record. I'm like, oh, instead of 500 pounds, it's now 550. Oh, it's now 560. No, it's now another human being can hit another human being harder, and there is a limit to how much a person can take. And once you pass the threshold of what's natural, then you start to get to a whole nother level where it's like these people are taking unnatural amounts of punishment, and something bad is going to happen. And I'm so happy that the UFC has really realized how serious this is and are treating it like that. You know, we're really thinking about, like, it's not just about fairness, it's about preserving the sport and preserving fighters.
As a champion, did you ever speak with them about this? Did they consult their current champions and get your opinions on this setup?
I don't know if I was consulted, but I gave my opinion. Yeah, I gave it. And, you know, I'm glad that it didn't fall on deaf ears. I'm sure it didn't come just from me. I mean, these guys are smart. They know how to do business, and the number one thing that they could do to protect their investment of all these years and all this money is to make sure that the sport endures. And no one-off pay-per-view here or there, that is worse to the entire future of the sport. It's extremely short-sighted, and I'm glad that they're taking a very long view.
Have you sparred somebody who you felt was juiced?
I don't know. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in the Olympics, I assumed everybody was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but that was the great thing about the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency is I really felt like our own organization, our own country, was out trying to catch us instead of out trying to help us pass international tests. And I was proud of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something like I could get I would be happy to be drug tested every single day. And I would be happy the more the worse the punishments are, the better. And I'm just happy to see the trend that it's going. And if someone is juicing or not, I was always raised that you have to be good enough anyway. You have to be better than any person, regardless of what kind of advantages they have, fair or unfair. And that's why my mom would always tell me you have to be good enough to be the best in the world on your very worst day. And it doesn't matter what kind of advantage the other person has. That's why another thing that she told me all the time, it's written on the wall over there, is no one has the right to beat you. It doesn't matter if they're on steroids, it doesn't matter if they had everything that you never had. It doesn't matter, they don't have a right to beat you.
Do you think the fighters should have had more of an input in the UFC decision to implement the two testing policy?
So what was the first part?
Do you think the fighters should have had more of an input, kind of like a collective bargaining type of deal?
A bargain?
Collective bargaining, kind of like it's done in NBA, NFL, MLB.
Well, I'm really happy with what they came up with. And, no, I think that this is the kind of thing that the organization needs to take a stand on. It's not up for debate. It's for everyone's safety and for their benefit.
How excited are you to fight in your hometown and see that in LA?